Hi, welcome to the Epic Living blog. My name is Eric Pennington. Today I want to talk to you about two different types of leadership. And it's going to be kind of a food connotation. Processed versus organic. This could apply to you directly, personally. It could also apply to your organization and its culture. But I've been thinking a lot lately about nutrition. And I'm a pretty healthy person. I try to eat right, I exercise, all of those different things. And I had a conversation with my wife a few days ago about when organizations adopt very processed ways of doing things. You know what I mean when I say that? In the sense that there's a policy and procedure for everything. If you have to get up and go to the bathroom, there's a policy on it. If you have to leave work 1 minute before quitting time, there's a policy and procedure about that too. So it's processed. For example, let me paint the picture for you in that regard. Velveeta cheese. Velveeta cheese is a processed cheese, processed product, if you would. It's a processed food product. And for some of you out there, it might be great. You might love the taste of Velveeta. Maybe it makes great queso dip or something. But it's processed. Now, why is it done that way? Well, it's done that way because it's more efficient for the manufacturer, it's cheaper for the manufacturer, and obviously they can make it in mass quantity. And I believe the manufacturer of that is Kraft, but are they thinking about your health really? I mean, is there really a genuine concern about that? Or is it more related to, we need to make a lot of this at an efficient way, at an efficient cost? Now, this is not me to take shots at Velveeta or Kraft, if they're the manufacturer, but it's the idea of it. I'm not a big fan of process leadership either, because process leadership is basically taking a handbook, basically taking a seminar, and using that as the guide, the Bible, the full-fledged, this is the way you do it. And the reason why I don't like that type of leadership is because it does not make any allowance whatsoever for change. It doesn't make any allowance whatsoever for you. You know, you're unique. Your DNA proves that. There's not another person, not another human being on the planet like you. So how can we create this processed leadership and think that it's going to be effective? Now, don't get me wrong. Having a process, having principles and foundations in how you're going to run your business, vitally important. I'm not advocating anarchy here. But the problem arises when we believe that the only way we can fix it, the only way that we can manage, is when we have these piles and piles of policies and procedures. I believe that leadership should be creative. I believe it should be organic in nature, as I use the food analogy. Organic food, at least my experience, most of the manufacturers, at least the original ones, I mean, I know now it's a real marketing niche. There are a lot of people who are involved in it. But I think the original concept was we can make healthier food for a number of people. That it's more important to eat healthy for the food to be free of all the things that may cause us issue down the road. And it just speaks to being more dynamic, more flexible to the environment, to whatever it may be that may be driving it. And I believe that's the best type of leadership. It has foundations, meaning there's a process in place, but it never allows itself to be hostage to a policy or a procedure. Now, some of you out there maybe would be thinking, well, again, Eric, you're giving people too much leeway. If they get to the point of where they feel like they can do whatever they need to do at the time they do it, well, yeah, quite frankly, I'm advocating that. Now, the burden of proof is on you and your organization and who you hire. If you hire someone that's not ready to handle that type of freedom, that type of creativity, yes, you're going to regret that. But the responsibility is yours. Hire people that can handle it. Hire people that are able to be creative, are able to make decisions that maybe don't fit inside of the policy and the procedure for the betterment of the client, the betterment of the organization. So organic leaders realize that it's a fluid thing, that it is dynamic, it is not static. And they're willing, and they embrace the idea that 2 years from now, we may be doing something totally different. Or we may be doing things in a different way. And that doesn't bother them. I think what happens with organizations, and I dare say even with individuals, we get a little taste of success, a la making money, and we begin to get a little fearful of losing it. So we start to go into the control mode. We start to believe that we need to clamp down and keep the process in lock. But if you're like me, I look around and I see so much change in the world today. And I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. And I think your best companies, your best organizations, your best individuals are those that are willing to embrace the dynamic, the organic, versus the processed. Now, here are some tips for you as it relates to how to break out of that processed leadership mode and to begin maybe thinking more organically. The first step, and I think it's a vital one, is you've got to be willing to throw the rule book out. You've got to be willing to take the policies and procedures and set them aside and ask yourself, is what I'm doing today really moving me to where I really want to go? And if it's an organization, the same question, just corporately. If it's not doing that, it's time to begin looking at a different plan. And yes, you will have resistance to it. Yes, you will have people say you're crazy. But I believe it's better to get out in front of change than for change to come knocking on your door telling you you got no other choice. You either change now or you die. So from that perspective, it's a willingness to take a look at what you've got. The other is, and I say this many times in my written posts as well as my video, have some advisors, have some mentors, have some counselors that you can go to talk to. Don't go this alone. The journey was never meant for you to go it alone. Tell them what you're thinking. Ask them for their advice. Lastly, is I believe that as you begin to look out into the future, into a world that's changing so rapidly, you've got to have a willingness to embrace the unknown. It'd be great if I could sit here today and tell you, well, organic leadership will lead you to a place that looks like this, that, and the other. But quite frankly, it really is about the embrace of the unknown. Valleys that you could never see, mountains you could not. You're going to be in a position of having to learn the art of seeing the unseen, which again is the unknown. And it's okay. Because those that will be prepared to live inside of the world of the unknown are those that are of the organic leadership variety. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk at you next time.